right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a quick day. I can't actually believe it's the market recap already. Lots going on. Bitcoin, it looks like it's actually done exactly what I said it was going to do. So let's just pull that up real quick. So we appear to be finding support right above the 7-month downtrend, which is good. That's what we want. It's not closed yet. Again, this doesn't actually happen until 7 o'clock Central Time. But it's good to see. It's good to see that we're getting here. Let me make sure my mic's good. Yep, okay. Get closer. But yeah, it's good to see that we're getting there. Also, the market, I think, is somewhat recovering as anticipated earlier today. Again, the market is not closed yet, but if we just kind of zoom over here, look at the watch list, maybe roll this over. Sort by change percentage. Oh, I got a new mouse coming too. Hopefully that makes my scrolling a lot cooler. We'll see. So Cypher up 8.25 today. Atom, a shitcoin up. NVIDIA up 4%. Blows my mind. The market cap on NVIDIA has just got to be ridiculous right now. I should look at NVIDIA real quick. That is just crazy. Let me pull that up super fast before we get too far down the rabbit hole. As you guys know, Tom Lee was fairly bullish, I think, in the interview that we watched earlier today. That was a good one for anybody that missed it. Maybe we'll watch it again. So again, what is the market cap on NVIDIA right now? $3.52 trillion. Let's just get to $4 trillion. We're already the largest company in the world, right? Like, what the heck? Just keep going. I got to say this, though, guys. I'm going to kind of, sound like I'm beating a dead horse here. This is good, but it's going to slow down in the future, most likely. Now, don't get me wrong. It'll still go up, but I think there was a chart I was looking at with my buddy, Cantonese Cat. He actually brought it up to me. I'll just kind of pop over here real quick to look at it. For the Tesla part of this, I'll scroll down a little bit. Let me see if we got it in here. It's in here somewhere. Should be in here somewhere. I hate it when I can't find my bookmarks. Let me just look him up. Oh, let me do all. That'll be easier. Can't miss it if you do all. Anyway, hope you guys are all doing good. I don't know if you saw this. This is funny. There's a guy named Joe who flies drones around Giga Texas all the time, and I watched him like crazy, and to get updates on when they were building it out. And they put on the top of one of the poles, they put a little message with the hedgehog that says, "Hi, Joe," just for him to be able to find that Easter egg later on, which I absolutely love. Oh, right here. Here we go. I don't know why it didn't get in there, but here it is. And so it shows NVIDIA to Tesla monthly chart ratio between NVIDIA or Tesla. The outperformance of NVIDIA over Tesla seems to be showing signs of exhaustion with a bearish divergence. Seriously building up over the last 7 to 8 months. Both NVIDIA and Tesla are probably going to do well moving forward, but the advantage may go to Tesla over the next 12 months. I 100% agree with this. Not that NVIDIA can't go up, but I do believe that Tesla is going to overtake it in performance. Now, maybe that doesn't happen this quarter. Oh, and I do have something else to say. We're going to do this. We're going to run through Tesla real quick, okay? Because there's actually a lot of things that I want to update you on and a couple of things I want to correct from earlier today. So one, the Cybertruck is now eligible for free FSD transfers until 2024. So this is a great way for them to be able to promote people getting into a Cybertruck. So if you have another vehicle, you're interested in a Cybertruck, and I think this thing's going to, with the new reduced rates, I think you'll be able to get that $7,500 credit, at least under the base model, which is pretty sick. So you could get the $7,500 incentive off the $80,000 price. Gets you down to $72,500. That's a steal compared to what I paid. I paid closer to $100,000. Now, but again, I get other things like FSD and stuff too. So we got past the Joe comment. I want you guys to see this. This is amazing. So this guy, James Knowles, was Waymo is the winner with level 4 autonomy. They just licensed the tech and put Tesla out of its misery already. Okay, well that's funny. So let's listen to what we have here. So Omar says, Tesla drives way better than Waymo and can do things Waymo can't do. Watch the steering wheels. Watch how much faster it gets there. How Tesla can take the highway and Waymo can't. So this is the same destination. But again, let me just shrink this up, make sure it gets right. I want to show this to you. So I'm just going to play this. Well, we might actually have to. Let's do this. I'm going to speed it up significantly because we don't have all day. Turn this way down. But again, he was taking the same ride between these multiple vehicles, and just watch the steering wheels and how they interact. Look at the Tesla and just how smooth it is up top, and watch the Waymo down below. So remember, the Waymo's got LiDAR. Took longer to get there. The Waymo's got LiDAR and a bunch of additional expensive equipment, and the Tesla is using cameras only, and it gets there faster. We're going to actually jump way ahead because I want to get to the end. And this is the same destination. So wait, oh, we were already there. Let's go back. So let's see here when he actually gets stopped. All right, so at the 7:47 mark, he's gotten to his destination without having to do anything, and the Waymo is stuck in traffic because it can't go on the highway. So I think the gist here is that Tesla is the winner. This guy's an idiot. Also, Elon Musk said X API is now live, so anybody who wants to integrate with XAI and start talking to Grok with an API, you can do that stuff, which is awesome. It's just getting us another step closer. I took some time to shit on MKBHD's take on a three from 3 years ago, where he said that he couldn't see a real purpose for a standalone robot outside of maybe a marketing gimmick. That hasn't turned out very well. Nick Cruz said the Tesla app for Apple Watch is finally here. Look at this thing. You could look up your location for your vehicle. You can control your vehicle from your watch. All very cool stuff. Let's keep scrolling down here. And we watched this one earlier, but again, this is just Tesla FSD taking a situation where there's some gates that have fallen down and other debris in the road, and it just smoothly goes around it, comes back over with the car coming, gets back over in its lane, and just keeps driving. And again, this is my experience with this too, guys. It does a really great job. Oh, and I wanted to clarify something real quickly about the Cybertruck pre-orders that I was wrong about. Okay, and I'll look at your comments here in a second, guys. 7,500 is not available yet on Cybertruck. Yeah, so they probably have to work out the kinks with the federal government, but I think that'll be coming really soon. But one thing I wanted to say here real quick. So I was talking earlier about there being potential downside for the stock because of the fact that Tesla has worked through all their pre-orders and that they're just taking regular orders right now. Like if you hop on the Tesla website, oh, by the way, I'm using a VPN right now, guys. So let me know if you run into or see any issues that come up at all. But if we just click here on the Tesla Cybertruck, I thought, and I was incorrectly understanding this, I thought that when you order now, it'll give you a time frame if you try and order that says that it's going to be available, and that says it's going to be available like October, November, right? October, November, right down here, right? So I thought that was indicative of the fact that they'd burned through their entire list. But no, it's not actually that. So what's happened is they worked through their list for asking people if they wanted the Foundation series. And then once they got through that list, if they didn't want the Foundation series, they said, okay, cool. List is gone. So if you want the car now, order it. So that 2 million pre-orders, it's not that everybody rejected those. It's that they had the opportunity to get the Foundation series. If they said no to it, then they didn't keep track anymore outside of knowing, hey, this person had a pre-order, here's the number. Now, if that person goes to order the Cybertruck now that it's available for everybody, they will receive priority and they will be put to the front of the list. So it's not that Tesla worked through 2 million pre-orders. That's not accurate at all. What they actually did was they tried to see if they could get these people into Foundation series. If they didn't agree to Foundation series, then they went ahead and basically said, okay, once the Foundation series is done, we're taking orders. If somebody really wants the vehicle, they can go ahead and order it. And if they had a pre-order that was early in the line, they'll get it quicker. So it's not nearly as bad as what I thought it was. It's actually way better. Okay. Mom74, we must pray for Kamala and Biden not to get in power and put Elon in prison. I think that'll be really hard to do when they don't have a space program without him. But I agree that they don't need to be in power. We definitely need to prevent that from happening. Earlier again, I'll just highlight some things real quick that we talked about earlier. So Galley said my conviction in the long-term potential of Tesla has never been higher. He's an OG from back in the day. Elon Musk said he agreed. And then we showed the lawfare that goes on with all these different government agencies. There's over 428 government agencies. I didn't know that. Elon mentioned that yesterday in one of these town halls. And he said, I've listened on CNBC today about a bunch of different people say, oh, and none of the Republicans and the Democrats, neither one of them have a plan to lower the size of government and cut spending. That is not accurate. Literally, the Department of Government Efficiency is something that Donald Trump wants to create and have Elon be ahead of. And Elon yesterday in his town hall said, I don't see why there's 100 government agencies, let alone 428. So if you do the math there, I think he's thinking about a 75-80% cut in government. And I think that would be amazing. I think there's definitely key areas you could do away with. So if they get into power and the election data by the day is looking better, even liberal sites like 538 and Nick Silver are saying that Trump is winning now, then we can do away with a whole bunch. We can get rid of 75-80% of government. And he has a plan for that too. He basically said, hey, we'll fire all the people that need to be fired and dismantle all these areas of government, and we'll give them 2 years' pay. We'll pay them out over 2 years still. They can go find another job. So you don't really have a disruption either. You'll have more people in the job market, and hopefully they can find good placement, and they got 2 whole years to do it. It sounds like a nice vacation to me. So I don't know. I think Elon is brilliant. And I think people discount that too much. And I think he's putting so much into this game. I think it's going to help a lot. Also, I don't have a good slide for this, but Tesla China has indicated that the Model Y could be going into production, the Juniper, right now in China. And it kind of makes sense timing-wise. Herbert in the Tesla community was talking with Jeff Lutz. They were both commenting about that in a video I was watching earlier. I think that would be great. Tesla Chan down here had a recent post about that. And also, if they do this look where they have the light bar going across the front, I just think that would look kick-ass. I don't even mind. I didn't know what to think of the back at first, but I think I'm okay with it, especially as cool as the front looks. So it'll be interesting to see if this is the finalized design and if it looks something like this. If so, I'm buying one for my wife like right away. I'm very excited about it. And again, just all this stuff. This was one from one of the videos of the town hall that I was listening. It says, "Is Elon hurting Tesla's brand by supporting?" And he said you could feel free to respond with 3 words. I just thought that was hilarious. And again, I think I wrote up something about Tesla, and I think earnings. I don't know with earnings. I think they could be good. But again, we've got history that tells us that doesn't always play out that way. So I don't know exactly what to think. But I do know this. I know that Tesla says that there is a fork in the road. Literally a fork in the road. It's like 40 feet tall, maybe 50, that they put outside of Giga, Texas, indicating that they're transitioning. And I think people should take this as truth, because it is. So if you don't think they're transitioning, I don't know. I think the fork in the road is very literally telling you that they are. And also, in some of these town halls that I'm listening to, I'm going to start listening to all of them. Any that are still left, I'm going to listen to them, because Elon is giving out like little nuggets along the way, like saying like our sales are actually really great. We're doing well as a company. Just saying things where there might be some insight along with it. We also talked about some of the lawfare of the governor trying to make it sound like, we should go after Elon Musk because of the $1 million thing. But there's nothing legally wrong with what he's doing, so they can go F off. That's the way I look at it. Real quickly, though, again, earnings. Speaking of Tesla, earnings on Wednesday. Very excited about that. That's really the big earnings I'm looking forward to this week. I don't know if there's any interest in me doing earnings for Enphase tomorrow. There's like Verizon, there's Texas Instruments, there's 3M, there's a bunch of different companies posting earnings tomorrow. I don't know how interesting they are, but if you guys are interested in me doing the earnings for Enphase, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just have like a regular market recap, and then if maybe anything interesting happens with Enphase earnings, maybe we can jump into it. All right, but yes, Wednesday. Wednesday is what it's all going to be about. Yes, I will be doing a session for earnings on Wednesday for Tesla. I wouldn't have it any other way. This is a company I feel very strongly about, and I'll be there. Sink or swim, I'll be there for it. And again, as I've told you guys already, with Tesla, and we'll look at where everything closed here in a second. Now that we're all closed up, but with Tesla, we are, I think, in the process of rolling over. We're underneath the 100 moving average on the daily. I do think still that our path is down to the 200 moving average, and maybe it happens before earnings. And then if that happens before earnings, I think it's a nice bounce higher. All right, I'm going to try and get it caught up on comments here. I'll pull up the stock market heat index, and we can look at that real quickly. I got a bunch of hellos. What's up, gang? Everybody's talking back and forth. RJ's talking about his plans for his investment account and what he's going to do. Everybody's just kind of talking through it. I think a lot of people, it sounds like, in here have a plan. Bitcoin go up, use that to buy Tesla. Kind of my plan, too. We'll see if it works that way. I hope it does. And then NVIDIA, again, just insanity, up over 4% on the day, really leading the entire market. I do think there's reasons for that, and we're going to watch something from FactSet, or we're going to listen to it, and we're going to look at some charts here in a second, because I do want to talk to that. All right, let me just keep rolling through here. CleanSpark runs. I take profits to Tesla. Yep. So I think a lot of you are following that same plan. Great, RJ. Hope Tesla doesn't run yet. Jesse's the man. Thanks, sir. He's Kodak. I hope CleanSpark outperforms Tesla by a good amount, holding CleanSpark to New Year to avoid taxes for a while, then roll over to Tesla while I scale out with more profits. Sounds like a good plan to me. Lim Jing Yun, what's up? RJ Cohen, if it does mop, there's always lessons to be learned. Honestly, I felt guilty, lol, but I like to trade for the short term. Allocating CleanSpark profits back is the plan. Let's go, Kodak. Johannes G, hello, from X. And then DK, I'm in an IRA, have to keep up on the taxes. Awesome. If you're in an IRA, you don't have to worry about taxes until you cash out. You don't have to worry about trades. So always remember that, guys. Alejandro, he loves this IONQ. I saw you posting stuff too. Up 10.9% as NVIDIA is up 4.14. Yeah, that's great, man. I just can't get into it. I saw that video. What was it? MSNBC where they're talking about, or CNBC where they were talking about IONQ. I don't love the play. And if it turns into something great, I hope it works out for you. Personally, though, I struggle with companies that have no real cash flow. I struggle with that, like just completely negative cash flow. Just like, again, in a quarter, it's great that you have revenue, $11 million in revenue, but when you're burning 35 million, I don't care how much the stock is up today. Like that's 3x what you brought in for revenue. And again, all these bonds right here, it's like, I don't know. It's just like trying to beef up the balance sheet. Operating expenses just aren't good to me. I don't like share dilution combined with all of that. So I just can't get excited about it. But hey, man, I like hearing you make money. So that sounds great. Okay. Hello, good people. Broccoli Bob. Hello, Johannes. Next NVIDIA is Tesla. I agree. Kamawa. iCAD, please. We can look at that stuff in a second. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it. It says RJ Cohen. I'm working my portfolio pretty hard, allocating profits thanks to you sharing your knowledge. I will do my best, my friend. Mr. Monkey, can't argue about taste. Millsy David, Jesse, you were talking in your market open about dental teeth retainers. I don't know if you know, but instead of a removable retainer, dentists can bond a fixed retainer in the back. Yeah, it doesn't work for mine because of my bite and just a whole bunch of other stuff, but I do appreciate that, Millsy. I have tried a bunch of stuff. It's a thin wire that's customized for you and bonded with a flow. Yeah, we tried that already. All right, let me see here. Matt, 7,500 isn't available as far as the tax break, so that hasn't come yet, but I'm sure it will be in the future. And again, if you can get one of those Cybertrucks for 72K, that's sick. RJ Cohen, is anyone else working harder to generate more income? I'm self-employed and talk. I mean, I kind of am, right? Because I got all these memberships now. Like we're getting closer to 2,900. So technically I'm getting income too. Whereas a year ago I was getting nothing and hadn't for 3 years. So I'm kind of working harder too, I guess. But I got a lot of people to support. Albert. Hey everyone, Genzo21. Jesse, have you looked at Grab? Spent a good amount of time in Southeast Asia. And this was the go-to app for everything. I've heard that a lot. Yeah, we can look at that in a little bit here. Let me see here, Nick. 12.54 is so good. Dude, it's good, and I can't wait to see what 13 is. 13 being 6x better than what I have now is just insanity. Let's see here. See, Apple is actually 3.6 trillion. I know, but it's a technicality. Sealess. I mean, another day of NVIDIA doing good, and they're the largest company in the world. So, Martin Pillich, work out the kinks with federal government. That sounds optimistic. I don't think it is optimistic, man. If look at Elon Musk, in a year he fired, less than a year, 6 months, he fired 80% of the staff at X, and then within that time he ended up making it to where to where it was already producing better outcomes. Everything was getting better immediately out of the gate with 80% reduction. And I will argue this. I will argue this all day long. I would say Twitter was probably better run than the federal government. So I think you could just decimate huge portions of that and not even see a difference. Create a couple of portals like a citizen portal. You could do all kinds of things that simplify process and make things easier and make them better. I'm sure Elon's got all kinds of ideas. I think he'll shred the federal government. He'll save so much money, it'll be ridiculous. Silas, NVIDIA does have that special momentum this year. It really does. The AI narrative is huge, and Jensen Huang's confidence in his company is telling too, and says a lot. And I think that's why people are so willing to buy into it. Lowe's 94, Jesse, which would you recommend? Become a BTC whole corner or more CleanSpark options and rotate gains into BTC later? I mean, I don't recommend anything because I'm not a financial advisor, but I personally am doing more with CleanSpark, leaps right now. And then I will be cashing out of those when we get to 32, and then I'll be rotating that into ETFs and actual hardware wallet Bitcoin. So that's my plan. B21, nice recovery from CleanSpark today. There were a lot of nice recoveries. Let's actually look at that real quick here, guys. Not just this heat map, but let's go into our other view here. So it was just a beautiful day. If we look at the overall watch list, we'll just sort it by percentages. So again, Bitfarms up 4.37. Where did that come from? Glad I'm in that. That did good. Not as good as Cypher, but I think Bitfarms is the better company. NVIDIA, the 4%. MSTU, 2.83. That's not bad. Again, MicroStrategy getting a little bit up there, up 1.48% on the day. SoFi, 2.16. Again, rocking it, just destroying the shorts. Oil up 1.44, but again, it's kind of getting near its peak, I think. Biddy Pro Shares, it looks like that was doing all right, but Iron up 1.37. So again, it came back around 7%, 8% difference. DLO up 1.26%. AMD 1.24. Ethereum up 1%. Hood up 0.52. Doge up 0.7. I mean, when you consider that the dollar, guys, let's just look at this real quick here. The dollar today, I think, has hit its peak, but it was up 0.5% today, guys. 0.5%. Now it's hitting that key resistance, retraced a little bit off of it. But this is crazy. And again, I got this line kind of drawn up here a little bit, but it should get rejected here and start going down. Considering how well everything did today with the market, with the dollar up 0.5%, and then oil up 1.5%. I just think that's amazing. And again, oil's got like this. It's got this pattern where it's like a rising, broadening wedge. You don't like to see that. That's usually, it's going to roll over here again. And again, I think it's going to go into the 50s. So not looking bullish on oil. I think the dollar's reached its peak. And the market today was pretty happy. It was pretty happy. Let's just go back over to that again and just continue looking through the watch list here and see how the rest of the things settled. So again, Hood up 0.5% on the day. Google up 0.5%. Silver still up a little bit on the day. Microsoft ARGT was up a little bit. And then the rest of these are down just a piddly amount. I guess Palantir was down 0.63. Tesla was down 0.84. But really, considering how things were earlier, this is nothing. This is really nothing. The market recovered very well. What was the worst punished? TMF, those TLT. Like I've been saying a bunch of times, guys, TLT is not the play you want to be in if that's what me, Kevin, is doing. Do you guys know? Is that what me, Kevin's doing right now? Does he have a bunch of money in 20-year bonds? That's such a bad idea. I actually think we're going to break through down here. I think this thing's going to break through. It's getting real close. Down 1.75%. Can you imagine being in TMF right now? Just getting walloped. This thing, so this 20-year bond, again, until we know until we know that the federal government is going to be able to start getting their fiscal house in order, and I only think that happens with Trump. It doesn't happen with Kamala. Sure as hell doesn't happen with Kamala. Unless we know that that's happening or that we're headed towards that direction, that narrative starts to build. I don't see how we're going to climb 95% to our previous high on the 20-year bond. I just don't. And so this could be a good hedge, though. If Trump wins and is in office, I could start to see maybe this recover. But until then, I don't know. I think it's just going to get beat up. Maybe we test down to the 87 range. Maybe we test down even lower again. Because here, tell me this wouldn't be perfect, guys. This would be like, this is a W bottom right here, right? Wouldn't it be perfect over a short period of time to have this happen, like this thing coming down, and then we go back up, and we start breaking out, and then the measured move off of that alone, off this W bottom, if it gets there, which I think it could get us even higher. And if we look at the weekly here, let's see, what does that get us to? I mean, everything's underneath of us. It's really the monthly where we have any kind of resistance. But look at that. The 100 moving average on the monthly that would be like, again, peak volumes. Look at this. This isn't just luck. Look at these moves. The math behind this stuff is so beautiful. So again, I would just call the peak right there. So if this thing got to 120, if we got to the W bottom and you bought TMF and you had that 3x play on TLT, and we know that the government is getting better, and you ride this thing up down from that bottom, down from here, right? And you get a 45% increase, that's going to be close to 140% with TMF, maybe 130%. Wouldn't that be a really good, like, easy hedge kind of version of cash where you don't have to worry about a lot of downside risk? If it gets down to that level, guys, if it gets down to this level, I'm probably getting a bunch, especially if I've had really wicked earnings from other things. That's my thought process on TLT. Kevin talked about $3 million in convertible bonds he's taking on this morning. He's buying more. I thought he had TLT though too. So he's looking to get more bonds right now. Kamawa, damn, you were right about Palantir rolling over when it was 47. Yeah, again, it could go higher, but it's just going to underperform. So let's look at Palantir real quick. So again, it did hit that spot and it did reject, right? Now, it's kind of hard to see, so maybe I'll just like move this a little bit to see it. But today, down 0.7%. Everything was, though, so you can't be too tough on it. But it's got some resistance up here to the $50 range. It really does. And it's more likely to underperform. And there's a whole bunch of gaps underneath it here. Unless the fundamentals really crush it. We have had the fundamentals could crush it, and this thing can do better. It just all depends. But again, the weekly RSI, second highest level in history. Right up here from where it got to its peak. And again, the MACD just curling up to levels we'd never seen before. The monthly candle is like at 76, 77. You could go higher, but it will take a break, guys. Technicals will draw this down. It would make a way more sense for it to back test over here, hit all these volumes in the 27 range, and maybe this takes months, maybe it takes quarters, right? And then it breaks out. It would be a beautiful cup and handle pattern. Look at this. Massive cup. You got to draw it all the way up here. Handle. Take off. Measured move much higher. And what would the measured move for that cup and handle be? It would be huge. It wouldn't just be here. It's forming up here now, right? So it would be much, much, much bigger. Much bigger. $300 for Palantir. And this could take years, right? This could take years. So again, just remember, technicals can draw you down unless your fundamentals are just sick. Jesse, any insights about the miners today, runners and laggards? Not much, man. Again, it's one of those things where they move. They all move up, guys. It's a normal part of the process. If we just look at miners here, they will all change all the time. It's just how it works. And we can see that because if we go over here and we pick random time frames, So I'll just go over here real quick. Oh, my bad. I clicked a thing and it moved me. Let me go here. Oh, is that? Oh, you're kidding me. I got to move this down first or something. Get it out of my way. My Speechify thing is being weird. Oh, and it just puts it right back here again. You suck. You suck so bad. And then if I touch it, it like bombs out. All right, I could just do it this way. Boom, 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 boom. So again, I'm just going to select all these just because I want to show you something real quick. So we'll just pick random time frames. And so right now it's MicroStrategy and Wolf. But if you looked a bit ago, if you looked at October 7th, Wolf was getting destroyed and MicroStrategy was going straight up. But if you look over here, I mean, if you looked over to this time frame, Iron was doing really good, and Iron was the best one you could be at. But if you were looking over here, it was CleanSpark that was the best. And then eventually MicroStrategy started to come up while CleanSpark had topped out. And then this other one, what's the pink one? Is that Mara? I don't know. They all take turns. They all take turns at different points in time. I wouldn't focus too much on that. Riot is like the worst over this time frame. But if we go back 5 years, again, over here, what was this one? Bit Digital, best performer. MicroStrategy coming in second. Then over here, it was all about Mara. November 2021, it was all about Mara. Over here, it was all about Mara in December of 2023. Those Mara pigs were like, we're the best in the world, guys. We're the best in the world. But again, over here, this would have been a different list. This would have been Bit Digital again that you were getting excited about. And maybe this was MicroStrategy and Mara that you were getting excited about. And everybody was asking me, why is CleanSpark lagging? It's always something. People, there's always an outperformer. There's always an underperformer. Today, there were rumors that Wolf was going to have a big AI HPC contract. Is it real? I have no idea. Maybe not. Maybe. Either way, 18% on the day. You can't hate that. So it was a good day to own Wolf. Does it mean you should jump into Wolf? Probably not. Okay, why am I not following Wolf? All right, I should probably turn that on while I'm here. Let's see, did they have an official announcement? No. No, so just pure speculation. Yeah, I don't have any idea why it's up. There's no official announcement from this company at all. But again, don't try and make too much sense out of these, okay? Cypher's up 8%. That's awesome. Hut's up 6%, whatever. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. They'll all take their turns, okay? So just remember that. All right, real quickly, before we get too far. So again, earnings. Very excited about Wednesday, about Tesla. Might do an Enphase thing tomorrow if it looks interesting. I do want to listen real quickly to the CEO of PIMCO. He's going to talk about why a very rare soft landing is occurring right now. And let's listen to what he has to say, okay?
Emmanuel Roman. PIMCO has $1.88 trillion in assets under management. Manny, welcome back. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
So did the jobs number make you rethink the picture for the economy?
Well, I think we are in a very rare soft landing situation where the Fed has done what it said on the box.
He better be French because he just sounds so French. He's either French or retarded. Just kidding, Frenchie.
And the number was a little stronger than expected. What it tells us is it rolls out another 50 bips cut, but we think that we will see 2 cuts of 25 bips, and things are going according to plan. It's likely that the yield curve will steepen, and we are on a path to, I think, a benign economy, and that's probably good news.
Some are wondering if it's maybe not soft landing and it's no landing again.
Nice.
It could be. I mean, I think we have to realize that there's a lot of things happening in the world, and part of it is political, part of it is geopolitical. We have tariff potentially coming. We have also a job situation in the U.S. where the U.S. was out of sync with other countries, and it's possible that the U.S. resync itself with the rest of the world, and that Europe and Asia are slower than we would like them to be, and so eventually the U.S. comes back to a more normal level.
So we're back to 4% on the 10-year and on the 2-year.
What if he's French retarded? If he's French and retarded, then that sucks. No, I was trying. My buddy French EV who's in here. I was shit talking. All right, let's keep going.
That's right. It's as flat as it gets.
Do you think it's well priced, or?
We think the yield curve will steepen. So the short end will, rates will go down, and the long end, we think it's a pretty unique opportunity to buy here. I mean, I think it's, the one thing that we feel good about is that fixed income offer really good value. And, the way we think about it is that you can build a portfolio of fixed income and earn 6 to 6.5%, which looks pretty attractive by any historical standard. And so
on treasuries or
treasury, mortgages, corporate bonds, a mix of different securities. And that explains why I think you see a lot of money coming into fixed income, because all of a sudden the expected return looks pretty good versus other asset classes.
How steep do you think we get? Let's say latter part of next year on 2s, 10s, do you think?
50 bips.
50?
I don't have a crystal ball, and listen,
that's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. But there's a lot of, I think the exciting thing is it's a very target-rich environment. There's a lot to do. And, we pride ourselves in being an active manager. Performance have been quite strong versus benchmark. There's moments where you play offense and you say there's a lot of money to be made, and there are moments where you play more defense, and right now it's quite exciting. There's a lot to do. And part of it is the volatility, and part of it is the uncertainty, and so I think we're quite active, and there's a lot of liquidity.
You mentioned Europe.
Yeah, there's tons of liquidity. That's the key right there.
Got more sort of depressing commentary out of Germany today on growth this year. Does their slower growth mean fewer opportunities or not?
Mark Bentley said, Jesse, were you referring to options when you said you'd exit CleanSpark at 32? Yes. I don't know if I'll be out of CleanSpark completely, but I will be out of options at that point.
In Europe?
Well, it depends. It depends what you look at. I mean, once again, I have this bias that I still think of the UK as being part of Europe, and clearly I haven't recovered from Brexit. But there's plenty of things to do in the UK. For example, my own country, France and Germany, are slow, and there's significant budget cut which needs to happen. Whether they will happen or not, I don't know. But the political situation in Europe is complicated, and the overall theme that I think we all recognize is that there's a lot of debt in the system, and that fiscal discipline is something that is not on the card, and over time will be more of a problem rather than less.
Joining us here at Post 9 this morning is Rob Rowe.
So again, he's bullish on fixed income, but he's also bullish on markets. We got Tom Lee in a second too, but I do want to jump over here real quick. I want to play this out. So the Earnings Whisperer, I honestly don't know that I'm finding any value in it that I just don't already know or can't derive from other sources. So I might end up canceling it. If you guys know of anything cool from it that I should really be focused on, let me know. I'm just trying everything to see what works. I mean, this is free, and honestly, I'm getting a lot more out of FactSet, I think, in regard to earnings, just high-level summaries, charting, just better data. So if you guys know of anything else that's more like this, let me know, because I'm very excited about it. But we're going to look at some charts. I want you to hear this first. It's just a fascinating look into how earnings are going and what the projections are going forward with the Magnificent Seven and then the other 493. So let's listen real quick. We'll let our guy play it out here.
Investments and assumes no liability for any consequence relating directly or indirectly to any action or inaction taken. The information contained in this.
Wait a second. We got a starter out at the top here. Let me just do this. There we go. Let's try that.
A number of the companies in the Magnificent Seven have been the top contributors to year-over-year earnings growth for the S&P 500 in recent quarters. Are companies in the Magnificent Seven also expected to drive earnings higher for the S&P 500 for the third quarter? More. Overall, 4 of the companies in the Magnificent Seven are projected to be among the top 10 contributors to year-over-year earnings growth for the S&P 500 for third quarter 2024: NVIDIA, Alphabet, Amazon.com, and Meta Platforms. However, NVIDIA and Alphabet are the only Magnificent Seven companies expected to be among the top 5 contributors to year-over-year earnings growth for the S&P 500 for the third quarter. NVIDIA is expected to be the largest contributor to earnings growth for the S&P 500 for the third quarter. After NVIDIA, Pfizer, Moderna, and Micron Technology are the top contributors to year-over-year earnings growth. All 3 companies are benefiting from easier comparisons to losses reported in the year-ago quarter. Alphabet is projected to be the 5th largest contributor to earnings growth. In aggregate, the Magnificent Seven companies are expected to report year-over-year earnings growth of 18.1% for the third quarter. Excluding these 7 companies.
That's a big number. And look down here at this chart, guys. Alphabet, this shows Q3 of 2023 in the light gray, and then the blue is Q3 of 2024. Alphabet, better. Micron, better, significantly better. NVIDIA, better. Pfizer, better. Moderna, less of a loss. But again, all of these doing better.
The blended combines actual and estimated results.
And 18.1% is a good number for the Magnificent Seven. It's a real good number.
Earnings growth rate for the remaining 493 companies in the S&P 500 would be 0.1% for third quarter 2024. Overall, the blended earnings growth rate,
that's pretty tiny,
for the entire S&P 500 for third quarter 2024 is 3.4%. Analysts predict the companies in the Magnificent Seven in aggregate will report double-digit earnings growth over the next 5 quarters as well. However, it is interesting to note that analysts believe the other 493 companies in the index will also report double-digit year-over-year earnings growth over the next 5 quarters. As a result, the S&P 500 overall is also expected to report double-digit earnings growth rates of 14%, 13.8%, 13%, 17.1%, and 15.4% for fourth quarter 2024, first quarter 2025, second quarter 2025, third quarter 2025, and fourth quarter 2025, respectively. A number of the
So this is very fascinating, guys. So this is what we're looking at for quarter projections going forward. So the Magnificent Sevens, we're looking at Q4 of 19%, Q1 of 2025 of 17, Q2 18, 19.6, and 19.2, going all the way out to the end of 2025. And then the other 493 COs, the lower part of the S&P, also outperforming quarter over quarter over quarter. So these expectations are high and they're kind of glorious. If we hit these numbers, everything should go up. So I wanted to pass this on. I liked this a lot better today than anything I got out of Earnings Whisperer. Again, I'm trying to find the tools that do the best job of summarizing, conveying message, giving us signal, and doing it in the quickest fashion possible. I love this site. If you guys find any other stuff like this where there's just really great analysis, I don't even care how much it costs. Let me know. Let me know, because I wouldn't mind paying for it. Earnings Whisper, they had some other stuff where I could pay like another $200 a month, but again, I just don't know what I'm getting out of it. I can't tell. It doesn't interest me. So anyway, I thought that was amazing. For anybody who missed it, we've got a quick 3-minute blurb from Tom Lee's Fund Strat earlier today. I want to make sure you all hear it. So let's go.
Let's talk more about where this rally goes from here this morning with Fundstrat Global Advisors Head of Research and CNBC contributor Tom Lee, who recently raised his target to S&P 6K. Tom, good to have you. I loved your note the other day looking at what S&P revenue has done in the face of declining inflation. And your general point is that real revenue has accelerated, and that kind of explains why equities have been so resilient.
That's right, Carl. As you know, many investors and pundits thought as inflation fell, and it's been cut in half in the last 2 years, that would cause revenue growth not only to hit a wall, but that earnings would stall. But instead, S&P revenue growth is going to be over 5% this quarter, and on a real basis, that's over plus 2%, and that's the strongest. It's really one of the strongest numbers in more than 2 years, and so it is a really high quality earnings season so far. And close to 80%, or actually more than 80%, are beating earnings so far. So it's a good beat season, but it's early.
Right. And how much of it is due to financials? Is any kind of tailwind, although we heard various comments about this, if a Fed tailwind does exist, is it likely to affect other areas of the economy as much as the banks?
Well, in your opening comments, you talked about industrials, and that's something to watch, because last week financials reported, and it was, pretty much universally better than expected, and financials are doing really well year to date. But the other group that's very sensitive to the Fed cutting would be industrials, and there's a lot of industrial reports this week. It's about a quarter of the S&P, but I'd say it's so far so good. And again, industrials are doing well in the face of an ISM that's kind of been at rock bottom for 2 years now.
Yeah, it's been really bad. The ISM has sucked.
Tom, how much
manufacturing, all this stuff has just been horrible. So think about what happens with tax incentives that pull manufacturing back to the United States for all kinds of tax exemptions, corporate profit taxes that are lower, where you could save 7% if you start pulling manufacturing back here. There's a lot of cool incentives that could really help boost this entire area and help industrials too.
How much would you ascribe the recent momentum to aspects of the election as that draws near, just over 2 weeks away?
I think that's been a dynamic. I mean, I've been fooled by seasonality because I figured from September to Election Day, markets would be very tentative because this is an extremely close race. I mean, this is a coin toss, according to Nate Silver. But something that Stan Druckenmiller said last week might
To be clear, even with Nate Silver, he shows Trump winning, and that's flipped as of recent. So polls have definitely pulled more in Trump's favor. I think that Fox News interview was the worst, where they were playing videos of from a woman testifying to Congress who had her little girl murdered and raped and whatever, and then asking Kamala, like, do you feel bad that this happened under your watch? And then she tried to blame it all on, like, oh, Trump is holding it all up. We put this bill in 3.5 years after we opened everything up, and they were holding all that up. And he's like, well, all of this happened before that. So do you feel bad about it? Like, it was such a damning interview. It was so bad.
Explain a lot that markets are betting that Republicans could take the Senate, and that actually could ignite animal spirits. So there may be.
I agree. Right now, even if Trump doesn't win, the Republicans probably get the Senate and the House. It's like locked in. So imagine what happens if Trump wins and he has control over the House and the Senate. It's going to get weird.
Underlying momentum that the Republicans take parts of Congress, and that's why markets are bullish.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you at all worried? There were some comments out of German PPI was down 1.4 year on year, Tom, but there was some ancillary commentary about worries about a reflationary period, largely due to geopolitical events. We mentioned oil coming back.
Germany does not look like it's reinflating per that PPI.
A bit today. How worried are you about that?
Well, I think that headline CPI could definitely get affected because oil moves dynamically, and it has an almost immediate effect on headline CPI. And we know transport costs have also spiked recently. Part of it's seasonal, but that affects headline. I think the market's going to be somewhat skeptical that could trigger a sustained reigniting of inflation.
Because it's bullshit. Inflation isn't going up.
But I think the economic data is going to be a little confusing the next couple of months because, the Boeing strike itself is going to affect the jobs report. But I think ultimately the Fed is still on a path towards getting back to neutral. I think that should be the focus. And that means, stocks, which have been strong, are really still a buy the dip market.
I 100% agree. And there were a bunch of morons on CNBC today that I did not subject you guys to that were saying all these things about how the Fed shouldn't have lowered rates at all and how they should be raising rates. Just stupid stuff to get it. Just absolutely asinine things. Qualcomm CEO on Intel and rumors of buying Intel. Kind of interested on that. 1 second here. I might just hop. Wasn't going to do another video, but I might hop over real quick just to check that out. 1 second here. Let me just go back. All right, 1 sec. I'm going to go back a few here. Oh, okay. There we go. When does this thing start? All right, let me just go back to here. Might check out and see what this guy has to say. 1 second here. Let me turn off captions so we don't have that crap on it. Turn on volume. All right, here we go. All right, we'll just see what they have to say here. And then I've got a couple of things to talk about with economic data. And then I think we're going to jump into stocks, guys. Bitcoin, if you missed a couple things that you might have missed earlier, just real quickly here before we get into this video. China did lower rates by 25 bips. They've lowered a lot. They're down to like 3.25 or something now. They're becoming very aggressive with lowering rates. They're going to have to keep lowering. It's going to be really rough for them. But I could see them doing more of that. And then also too, with Bitcoin, Japan did talk about lowering tax rates significantly on Bitcoin and crypto if their liberal Democratic Party gets into power, which it's way different in Japan. I won't go into all the details, but yeah, these are the people that are pro Bitcoin and pro crypto. So those are just a couple of interesting bullet points, but let's listen to what they have to say here at Qualcomm. I just want to hear what he's going to say about Intel more than anything, and just about the chip market. I'm really trying to understand AI and the chip market a lot more in the near future here. Yeah, Tom Lee talking about animal spirits is exciting. Heinz said, Germany, if you effed up, in my opinion, the war kicked the hell out of their menu. Oh, dude, they've screwed up so bad. So many bad decisions. Getting rid of nuclear, just every decision they make has been asinine. It's really sad. I love Germany.
It was a wild day of trading for Lumen Technologies, the communication services company getting a big pop at the start of trading today after teaming up with Meta to expand the social media giant's AI network capacity. But the stock sinking into the red shortly thereafter after Raymond James threw cold water on that partnership, saying it is likely related to Lumen's announcement in August that it won $5 billion in AI-related business. An announcement, by the way, that was discussed here on Overtime, noting there does not appear to be anything new in today's headlines. You can see shares of Lumen, which is a smaller company, finishing down about 2.5% today.
Indeed, indeed. All right, well, Qualcomm kicking off its Snapdragon Summit today in Maui. The company unveiling its latest flagship mobile chip. Called it a flagship, I guess that works. The Snapdragon 8 Elite, alongside improvements in performance and efficiency, would allow for personalized multimodal generative AI directly on phones. Joining us now, fresh off the stage there in Maui, first on CNBC is Cristiano Amon, the CEO. Cristiano, always good to see you. So now you've got these Orion CPU cores that you were talking about last year in laptops coming to smartphones. What does that do for the phones that use the highest end Snapdragon chips? And it's a category that's done particularly well for you across the board and in China lately.
Well, first of all, it's great to talk to you, John, and you, Morgan, here from the Snapdragon Summit. We need to get you to report from Maui on the Snapdragon Summit. This is incredible. A lot of excitement here with new technology on Snapdragon. But to answer your question, we're very excited.
Why wouldn't you report from Maui?
When we entered the PC and we announced the Snapdragon X Elite, we restored the performance leadership back to the Windows ecosystem. Snapdragon X Elite was the fastest processor with the fastest Orion CPU. And what we're doing here at the show, we're announcing 8 Elites, which is the next edition of Snapdragon for smartphones. And the same thing we did with in PCs, we're now doing in phone. We're restoring the performance leadership back to the Android ecosystem. Snapdragon X Elite has our second generation Orion CPU and is now the fastest mobile processor out there. But what's also exciting, what we're doing with AI, we have conviction that we're going to see applications changing with AI. We showed this new vision of the future, how apps are going to change with AI, especially because computers now understand human language. And Snapdragon 8 Elite for mobile is one of the fastest engine to run those large language models, large visual models, multi-billion parameters running on a device and start enabling this future. Exciting time for Snapdragon, exciting time for Qualcomm.
And software, as you mentioned, is a key component here, because it doesn't matter how fast your chips are in isolation, they got to run something faster. So there's this lag between Apple announcing Apple Intelligence and it actually being available, especially in languages other than English. What kind of an opportunity does that present for your ecosystem, right? And what software needs to come to market for you to really benefit?
You know, what is really exciting, we're making Snapdragon an open platform. Remember, it was kind of an year ago that we started talking about Gen AI models running on devices at the edge. We did it before it was popular. And fast forward 1 year, if you look at some of the video appearances I had at the keynote, I had Satya from Microsoft, Mark Zuckerberg from Meta, Sam Altman from OpenAI. In all of those companies, what they're doing with Gen AI models, whether it's the Microsoft Copilot, Llama.
See, I love that he's talking about AI. I want to see how his company might intertwine with it. This is the stuff I'm looking for.
The OpenAI ChatGPT models, they see the potential of making this available across all the computing devices and, of course, mobile. And the exciting thing about what we're doing, we're making this an open platform that everybody can come in and help to design this future. It's not about one killer app. Exactly how about you're going to change all apps with Gen AI. And I think that's the opportunity we have for Qualcomm, for our partners, and for the Android ecosystem.
Okay, let's talk M&A for a moment. There are rumblings that you at Qualcomm are considering making a bid for Intel, possibly sometime after the election. Are you?
For some reason, I had a feeling you're going to ask this question. Look, we don't comment on rumors. I'm telling you what we're up to. We're incredibly busy diversifying the company. I'm on that mission that I told you before we're going to do. We're going to change Qualcomm from a mobile communications company into a connected computing and AI company. And we're on this journey like crazy. One of the things we're announcing at the show is the continued progress we made on PCs, especially after our competition launch new products to catch up with Qualcomm on AI PC. We had the battle of the benchmarks here at the show, and we actually show that Snapdragon X Elite is still the performance king of the AI PC. We're busy trying to build that business for the company, and incredibly excited about the traction we're getting with PC OEMs, with PC channel partners, and I think that's going to be a big business for Qualcomm. In November, we're going to have an investor day. That's the first time we're going to provide financial metrics of how we think that business is going to grow, but that's what we're busy doing right now.
Okay, so you're not going to comment on the Intel rumors, but Cristiano, I am going to ask you, when you talk about diversification, that could still come in different ways, and I wonder if that means you are potentially at least acquisitive.
Look,
we definitely need somebody who's better at running Intel, because Intel just misses all objectives, all goals. They promise a lot and they underperform, and that is not the way to run a business or a stock.
Here's our strategy for diversification, and we have been very clear, and I'll walk you to the science behind the madness. The first thing we did was automotive. We picked that industry. We built Snapdragon Digital Chassis. We now have a pipeline that grew substantially, $45 billion. Actually, 1/3 of that is ADAS and autonomy. The second industry we picked was PCs. We saw two intersection points. Convergence of mobile and PC becoming an AI device. We're doing that. And the next one is what we're doing with spatial computing. We always believe that. If you look at our partnership with Meta and Gen AI starting to enable smart glasses to get traction, we're very happy with the traction that we're having with the Meta devices on smart glasses. The last one is what we did a couple weeks ago. We announced a new product suite for industrial. We believe that we're going to see a new wave of growth in industrial as AI is actually going to run at the edge. Yeah. That's our strategy. We had outlined that strategy. We've been executing to it, and I'm actually hopeful to provide metrics like we did of Auto for all those new business in November.
Yeah, and I know with the handsets and the PCs, it's very much seen, at least by the Wall Street analyst community, Qualcomm as an edge AI play, but you just talked about industrial too. So I wonder how you see this edge AI play, this trajectory actually unfolding here. How much of this actually depends on upgrade cycles?
Yes, so obviously when you think phones, you think upgrade cycles. And one of the things we did at the show, we show a vision, and that's why I'm super excited about the number of partners and CEOs for some of the leading AI companies that were part of the event, showing how the smartphone experience are going to change with AI and how that's going to translate into business. That's going to create a new upgrade cycle. Obviously, the question that everybody asks, when is it going to happen? If I knew it with precision, I think we'll be making very bold projections. Yeah, we don't know. What I can tell you is, for sure, 5 years from now, this is going to be very different, and we're going to see the full transition to an AI smartphone. How fast is going to happen between now and then? We just need to keep building new applications and services. When you think about automotive, when you think about compute, and you think about industrial, all new growth markets for Qualcomm. Those are industries that we're growing share, and we see this tailwind enabled by AI. Gen AI experience, when you're behind the wheel, is going to transform how you think about automotive as a computing space. When you think about what we're doing on PCs, that's our entry point, the transition to AI. And then industrial is one that we're actually very excited about it, because enterprise digital transformation, you see now a number of use cases how they can use AI to change how they run their business. We have some examples we recently announced for energy and partnership of Aramco, and I think that's a sign of what we're going with this technology.
Cristiano, quickly, we're going to hear more next month around Analyst Day around the server strategy and how AI continues to fit into that.
Jeez, look, I won't announce it today, but we're going to definitely make Investor Day exciting.
All right.
Well,
we'll be paying attention, of course. Enjoy the weather out there and the technology. Cristiano Amon, CEO of Qualcomm.
Thank you. Hope to see you here next year.
Up next.
Yeah, who wouldn't go to Maui? You guys got to be flipping insane. Let me just make sure I don't have anything else to talk about real quick. Oh, and I do want to say for economic data tomorrow morning, guys, let's just take a look here real quick and see what we have. Again, just a bunch of Fed speak today. CB leading index shows negative 0.5. I can't even click on it and go into it. It's reported somewhere else. I'll leave it alone. I don't know that I care much about that anyway. So overnight, we're going to get some inflation data from Hong Kong. That'll be interesting to see. Economic activity from Mexico, PPI, raw material stuff from Canada. We've got Redbook year over year, Richmond Fed Index. So by about 9 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have pretty much all the stuff we're going to have, except in the market recap. We can look at the money supply. That should be interesting. This has been a horrendous number. So let's see how much M2 money supply ends up growing again. It's just insane. And again, maybe tomorrow night we get the foreign direct investment number. But the real stuff doesn't happen until Thursday or Friday. It's going to be a pretty quiet week on the economic data. Let me make sure there's nothing else I wanted to talk about over here. Real quick, just checking. Again, gold, silver were taken off. What did they end up at? I think gold, let me just double check here real quick. I think gold retraced a little bit. Let's see if silver did the same. So they were crushing it over the weekend, but it looks like that came back a little bit. Let's see if silver, I think, kind of did as well. Let's just look here. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Nope, that ain't silver. Let me get back over here. I got to delete that one anyway. It's extra garbage. Okay, buy. Keep this one. All right, yeah, so silver retraced a decent amount too. So it looks like we were at 75, almost 76. Oh, wait, what is that? Are any of these right? What the heck? Is that one wrong too? If so, I need to update this real quick. No, there we go. Jeez, man, losing my mind here. So up 0.7%. It did have a little bit of a retrace, but again, nothing too crazy. But it looks like they did come back just a little bit. All right, let me go over here real quick. Let's see, NVIDIA AI. So a couple of things. I talked earlier about this in the market open. So Perplexity, it looks like they've got some issues too. I'll report on that probably tomorrow. But they were trying to do another fundraising to get it up to an $8 billion valuation. These guys are, again, trying to just be another AI that's out there. This is a Jeff Bezos back one. I do find it interesting because they've got a financial piece that I want to test out. I haven't done that yet. That's kind of fascinating. Also, looking up here, Beth had posted, McKinsey estimates that global data center demand could rise more than 5x by 2030 in a bullish, unconstrained scenario, with demand reaching 298 gigawatt, up from 55 gigawatt in 2023. So this is what we could see for multipliers here on the low end and the high end. And I could see accelerated demand. I really think that that's what's happening. Also, Rahard Jacques was talking about Jensen Huang's recent comments about inference being 1 billion times because of chain of thought models. I just wanted to play that real quick here. I'm trying to, again, learn as much as I can. If you guys have really good sources for AI or chip-related information, I want to hear them because I'm trying to get as smart in the subject matter as I can. I'm ignorant to interesting right now.
I'm going to do another podcast.
Oh, let me turn that up.
And so I got a preview of a podcast that Brad Gerstner did with Jensen. And so, and in that one, and because we're doing a reaction to that, and in that podcast, Jensen says that he believes inference is going to be 1 billion times larger than training.
Okay.
And look, if we
1
take a
billion
step back,
times
so
larger than training. I don't know what that means. Does that mean like just the iterations, or is he talking about overall compute needed for it? I don't know what he means here. If you guys know, let me know.
About training as like compile time. If we go back out of the AI era, right? How often do you compile a piece of software versus like how many times is it run? You can.
I mean, is he just talking about? Yeah. Maybe he's talking about compute needed for it, right? Alexander, yeah, I would agree.
Can't even make a comparison, right?
which is interesting because if that's true, then like some of the portable devices, the phones and things that we use, they're probably going to be one of the next big changes in chip infrastructure to be able to account for the inference difference. That's what I'm thinking. It'll be very interesting to see if that's how it plays out. And if that is the truth, we need to figure out who are going to be the chip makers that are going to build these phones of the future. Will it be a Qualcomm? Will it be somebody else? So I'm probably going to pay attention to Qualcomm earnings.
Windows or Mac OS or iOS is compiled once and then run all the time, right? And so naturally, I don't think we're entering a cycle where it's the ratio is even close. That's why I think he's correct in thinking that every time once a model is trained, it'll be run billions of times before it's updated again.
I just think that's very fascinating. I watched a video too, guys. I've got to post it. I haven't posted it. It was a video. I forget the guy's name, but he's absolutely brilliant. He appeared on Tom Bilyeu. It was 3 hours long. He was talking about the replacing of human labor with robots and then also artificial intelligence. And he's the guy, he's one of the founders of Stable Diffusion, if you guys have heard of it. It was such a good video. I'm going to share it out. It's 3 hours long. There's a lot of content in it. But man, was it fascinating, and it just opened my eyes a lot. If you guys have other sources like that, I want to hear it. Todd, NVIDIA's big strength is training. Tesla's trip chips are inference only. Yep, I think, again, there's these separate components, and I want to understand them a lot better. Alexander says, but eventually there won't be as many models. I think there's actually going to be tons of models from listening to, there's going to be a couple of big ones, and there'll be other models that'll be built off of them. Like he was talking about how Chat GPT right now can handle I think it's 30,000 words and then images with it too. But then I think he said Gemini can take 3 million now for what you put into it to tell it what you want it to do. This stuff is getting insane, man. It's really wild. And there's models built off models built off models. Again, Poe is exactly that. This tool that I'm using right now, guys, there are so many different bots in this thing that I can access. It is insane. And again, there's all these variants of it that do different purposes. I mean, just look down here at all these different bots that I can choose from with Poe and that I can get access to and utilize. It's just endless. You know what I mean? There's just an endless amount. If you need something for programming, the popular bots, there's a trolling GPT, there's an IQ test one, there's a photo creator, there's a math solver, there's a PowerPoint fast, there's an Excel generator, there's PDF summarizers, there's just so much wild crap built off of all of this. It's fascinating. There's translation apps, there's all kinds of really cool stuff. And again, some of these are a little janky, but there's a lot of big ones in here too. So it's fascinating. It's really fascinating to see. And again, popular, like all these, like Claude, Llama, Gemini, Mistral, ChatGPT, multiple variants. It's all fascinating to me. Todd Gleason. Oh wait, Alexander says, why less models is that it's very, very expensive to get a model better. So as time goes by, fewer models can afford to train and competitive models. Yeah, I could see consolidation. That makes sense. And Poe is agents. Agents can use simpler models to do complex stuff. All right, Alexander, it sounds like you're going to be a fun person to talk to. Todd Gleason, newer LLM architectures are getting to be able to handle more tokens. Typically, a token is maybe a word, but it's also not a one-to-one. Sure. Silas, so Gemini can apply cultural Marxist ideology to 3 million images now. Plainly delicious. Yeah, right. It's fascinating, though. It's fascinating that you can have such, again, we're used to Google search where you type in 10 words for a command. These things can take an entire storyline and a series of stories, and then they're going to be able to think. So some of these newer models are able to think. So they literally start off with, here's the thing you requested. What should I do to try and get here? Should I run this? Then should I run this? Then if I find these things, should I run this? Like what? And they're starting to think like a human brain. It's fascinating to me how complicated AI, artificial intelligence, the training, the inference, all these things are rapidly developing. And I can see this just within my own Tesla. within my Model Y with hardware 3 and with my Cybertruck with hardware 4, I can see how much more intelligent it's getting and how its brain's developing, and it's flipping fascinating to me. But again, so I thought that was an interesting comment. I think there's a lot of crazy stuff happening. I want to get into this more. If you guys are talking about this on Discord, make sure you tag me. I've got to reduce. I'm getting overwhelmed with Discord with communication, so I might reduce the size and try and focus on a couple of key channels in order to be able to make it to where, you know, I'm not being overwhelmed by what's going on in there. You guys are having a lot of great conversations, but there's also like almost 800 people in it now. So I need to figure all that out. All right, John Frank, this conversation is why I have a hard time building conviction in Palantir. The SoTech is so insane. How can Palantir keep their moat? I don't know. Palantir is great. Again, they're great. They got a great business model. They come in, they deliver. They don't talk about pricing. They don't talk about trying to make money until they show people that they can develop. And then again, they're dealing with all of their data. I don't know. I think Palantir can have a moat for a while, but I do wonder in the future how much of that will be a moat and how much of it is just going to be AIs can do everything out of the gate and you don't need a company so much to help you with a lot of it. I don't know. I could see LLMs within a company and externally, they're going to all kind of blur. They're going to blur and maybe communicate with each other with these agents. I don't know. It's so crazy. It's ever developing, and it's going to be a fascinating conversation going forward. I really am excited about it. All right, so that's the gist, I think, of everything that I wanted to talk about. We're moving on. Let's do stocks. Tell me what you want, guys. Somebody was talking about sound. I'm going to pull that up right now. But throw out stocks. Let's look at them. It's 4:10. We got 20-ish minutes. Let's see what we can get through. Palantir isn't LLM based. Market reacting positively to election prospects. I agree, Shill. John Frank, Palantir's moat may get built faster than it melts until we have full AGI. That's probably true, too. It's a valid point, Todd. Grab. Yes, we'll definitely touch Grab. So sound is down today. Wow, it's weird. It's very weird. I'm probably going to do... let's say that we found the bottom on sound. Actually, you know what? Before I even get into this, let's just look at the financials on this one. Because if I remember, I thought this was a train wreck, and I thought they were just using AI narratives to try and make money. Let's see how true that is. And I think my buddy Lim here was talking about it too. So let me see. Oh, so SoundHound AI. So let's look at estimates here. So estimates are growing. This company's growing, right? EPS is negative, EBIT's negative. But they're growing. Institutional ownership growing. But again, everything with an AI narrative is getting institutional ownership right now. Short interest is still huge, almost 23%. We saw a lot more selling than buying only recently here in Q3 of 2024. We're seeing buying. Is that indicative of something good coming? I don't know. I can tell you this, though. Revenues were $13 million last quarter, and they burned through 37. So roughly 3x as much money they burned as what they made in revenues. Share dilution is through the roof. It's just a shit ton. What does it say? 286 million roughly before. And then this last quarter, 331. So you're getting diluted horrifically so that they can build up their cash position to build out whatever business they have. Is it a real business? I don't know fundamentally if it is. Let's look back up here. I got Lim in here. Let me see. Lim asked if we could take a look at it. And here's what she said. She said, copied from Investopedia. A recent 13F filing by NVIDIA shows that the company owns 1.73 million shares of SoundHound AI. The company also invested in 75 million capital raised for SoundHound back in 2017. So here's my worry with this, is whether or not they can actually be a profitable company going forward. Because NVIDIA invests in tons of stuff right now. I'm not even sure what the full list is, but is this ever going to be a profitable company? I don't know the fundamentals well enough to be able to answer that question. I can just tell you right now that they're bleeding out 3-to-1 versus their revenues. And so this kind of thing, this operating expense just looks ugly, with operating expenses being at over 30 million and revenue being at 13. So I don't love that. I don't love the stock-based comp is 54% of revenues. it's just one of those things where could this turn into a real company? It could. Is there growth? Yes. The projections are actually pretty good for additional revenue. They're saying 35 million by Q4. If they can pull that off, that's awesome. But are they going to lose 60 or 70 million to get 34? That's the real question. Okay? And right now, I just don't see a clear answer in their financials. So I don't love looking at a company like this. If that starts to turn around, though, again, the company is a $1.93 billion company. To me, that's a little rich still for a company that's burning 37 million a quarter. So I don't know. I could see it rolling over. Maybe it stops here. Maybe it grinds for a while. I just don't know why I should be excited about this company. I mean, look at their earnings reports. Miss top and bottom line. Beating top and bottom line. Miss earnings beat on revenue. Miss on both. Miss on earnings, but beating on revenue. Miss on earnings, beating on revenue. Again, I could see that same kind of thing happening where maybe they've got increased revenue. Maybe they fall in line. Maybe they miss on both. I don't know. But it just doesn't look interesting to me right now. And I've said this before, and I know Alejandro loves to push IONQ. You talked about that CNBC interview with Amy Raskin, but again, in that interview, all she said was, hey, we're really interested in it, and we were early on NVIDIA too. It's something we can allocate a very small percentage to. And I agree with her. If you're allocating a very small percentage, great. If you're allocating more than 5, it's probably too much risk, in my opinion, for a company that just makes nothing in regard to revenue. Again, I'll look at it one more time here. Just like SoundHound, actually worse than SoundHound is IONQ. I think it's worse, right? Or maybe it's comparable because they had 11.4 million in revenue and they burned 37. So technically, they're worse. And the cash flow looks worse. And the dilution is occurring, maybe not at the same levels. It looks like their bonds are probably helping them the most. They don't have a lot of cash. I don't know what kind of bond they're running. But again, this is not to me what makes a good company. And then we got 2 quarters of flat revenue. Again, there's still a growth pattern here for sure, but growth of revenue means nothing to me unless this company can turn it into profit. And I just don't know. I don't know. And then this thing has already run a bunch. If you look at the stock price, man, like look at this. This thing was down at 662 and now it's 1476. So I don't know. Is it a good value here? It just all depends if they can turn into a real company. And if you guys believe they can, if you're like, no, but they've got this product thing that they're doing that's really great, then tell me that. Tell me why I should give a fuck outside of the stock price going up. If you guys can tell me that, I'm interested. All right, let's keep going on. Let me see. I lost a couple here, but I'm going to try and get through it. Let me see here. If I missed a few, I'm sorry. Grab. That was definitely next on the list. Let me get there. All right, and let's look at the finances first. And I'll try and do more of these in the afternoons too, and make it shorter on all the other stuff. It's just every once in a while. Again, I'm trying to follow things that I find interesting that I believe are going to be valued too. Revenue growth 17% year over year. Forward PE is 93.46. I do like the fact that it looks like they're kind of getting towards profitability. They're getting positive on free cash flow. They actually had 245 million last quarter off of 664 million in revenue. It's kind of flattening out. Let's look at their estimates. Are they picking up again? They're picking up again. EBIT a little bit negative, but estimates picking up. And you said everybody's using it in Southeast Asia, so I find that interesting. Institutional ownership kind of flatlined, but looks like it might be growing again. No real short interest to speak of. Let's just jump back over here. Revenue by segment. They've got deliveries, mobility. I don't know what mobility is counted as. If you guys know, let me know. And then financial services. Other services are pretty much empty. And EBIT, it looks like they're losing money on financial services, but making most of their money on mobility. And then deliveries are doing a little bit of that too. Incentives breakdown, partners, and consumers. I do like that their operating leverage appears to be going in the right direction. Stock-based comp is a little high still, but still. Revenue growth 17% year over year. Total monthly transacting users in millions. So they're growing their user base. Total gross merchandise value dropped for some reason. GMV per monthly transacting user dropped for some reason. I don't know what GMV means, though. Maybe you guys, gross merchandise value per monthly? So yeah, yeah. So whatever it was over here dropped over here for transacting users. I don't know what any of it means without digging deeper. It looks like their debts have went down. I don't hate that. They're burning some cash. Not a really crazy amount of share dilution. Grab to announce third quarter results in November. Uber stock surge, Grab Holdings. This is like an Uber, right? In Singapore and parts of Southeast Asia. So the question is, can they keep growing? I do like this. I like the fact that, what is it? What did they burn? They burned, a very small amount of money with 664 million in revenue. And now it looks like their estimates are going up a decent amount. So by the end of Q1, they're saying 754 million in revenue. It seems like this is a real company. Uber plus Uber Eats in one app, but for Singapore and Southeast Asia. Okay, cool. Quite significant here. Most people compare prices across other delivery and taxi platforms. Is there a lot of other companies that are competing in this space? Used it everywhere I went, and it was the default service. Just order grab was very common. Okay, cool. All right. Again, I think it's interesting. It seems like they're trying not to burn too much money. It seems like they're trying not to dilute too much. It seems like they're starting to build up some free cash flow, which I like. If they can get that net income and free cash flow growing, then we can actually get like a decent PE ratio here. But it's not. It doesn't look like a horrible company. If they do what they're saying in their estimates, it looks interesting. It looks interesting. Let's check the stock real quick. I know I have it on here, so we'll just glance at it real fast. I know we talked about this one before. Oh, let me get out of here. Not sure what I did there. All right. 8% on the day. That's a pretty nice jump. Wow. This has been down in the dumps so long. Let's do this. Let's pretend like we found the bottom. I mean, I think we have, right? Let's just pretend like we found the bottom. We'll draw it probably from like here, since this is all we really have, up to here, down to here. And so we were grinding up against that .618, and we finally had a breakout. So next place is really 430, right around there. Yeah, this was in the dumps for a very long period of time. So maybe this is its time to actually fly. Volume, I mean, we've got all the volume underneath of us. It doesn't really pick up until about this 490 level. And then the 200 moving average is in the 5. So probably resistance there unless the company's fundamentals really take off. But on the weekly time frame, we're getting to overbought conditions. So if we get up to 430, it could take a breather again until the fundamentals kick in. That's my thought on Grab. All right, let's keep going here. Where'd we end up? Wow, you guys threw out a lot of them. I've got to definitely do a session where I go over more of this. SMCI, I'll glance at that real quickly here. I definitely got to do another stock ticker lookup. I'm going to have to devote some real time to it. All right, super microcomputer. Again, wicked growth. This is kind of the hot topic one, right? They've got the Department of Justice after them now. Negative free cash flows. I think it was this one. Cash is looking really good compared to debts. Definitely some increase there. Operating expenses going up. Massive amounts of share dilution, though. Look at this. From 54 million to 58 million. So definitely it's ticking up. It's ticking up. I can't say massive, but it's pretty strong. Current PE ratio is 240. Forward is 14. So let's look at the estimates here. So it looks like they're topping out a little bit here and slowing down. EPS just plummeting. I'm not sure why for their forward estimates. And it looks like short interest is non-existent. Institutional ownership has been dropping a lot. Why? Do they just think this is overbought? Like, what's the deal? UPS sinks on downgrade. That's kind of interesting. I almost want to know what that is. We're going to jump real quickly here. I got to see what's going on with UPS. We know FedEx had issues, so I'm curious about UPS. I just need to see what they say here. Why are we shitting on UPS?
Learn more.
Welcome back to Fast Money. Let's get to our call of the day. Shares of UPS sinking more than 3% after Barclays downgraded the stock to an underweight. Analysts citing weak delivery demand this quarter, long-term pressures from Amazon and FedEx, and limited dividend growth. Barclays' price target remains $120. That's about 8% lower than today's close. The sell is very rare, of course, on Wall Street, and a key point is losing Amazon, and also just the rivalry that Amazon now presents with its own delivery fleet.
So that's the big thing. It's Amazon potentially, just destroying these guys. All right, that's enough for me. I don't need to go too far down that rabbit hole. All right, let me see here. So we got SMCI. So SMCI, SMCI looks pretty good on paper, but I don't like the fact that the forward PE is going up, and that it's at 14. The growth was really strong. The question is, can they keep it? And or will they be rolling over in the quarters ahead? And then again, this had the Department of Justice scandal thing, right? Like, what is that about? Do you guys, that was this company, right? Looking into them. I don't remember what it was all about. I don't know all the details on it. But let's just take a look. They're being scrutinized by the SEC, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's what I thought. Silas, you're African American like Elon, not talking about race. Are you? How do I not know that? Need to get out more. All right, real quickly, we'll look at SMCI as a stock here too. As a stock price. Main issue is dropping margins. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so let me see. Where do I even have this drawn from? From here to here to here. Question is, are they at the bottom? Let's assume they are. This is a huge drop. Let's just go back over here. Let's redraw this here. The question is where to redraw it from. It's just such a weird, I'm going to draw it from here. Such a weird time frame, but this is what we'll do. We'll say this was the bottom and they're not going to go lower. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I mean, I assume it's true. As long as there's nothing major with the Department of Justice, or I'm sorry, the SEC, then we're good. This could be a bear flag. You got to be warned of that. So if this doesn't really start to break out, then it could be a bear flag, and then it could roll over. So we don't want to see that. We want to see this not be a bear flag, and in actuality, break through this first fib line at 55.42. We want to see it break above this. If it does that, then we should be better. Ooh, I want to see this IP address. I'll check it later. I should screenshot it. All right, so yeah, so hopefully this thing doesn't start grinding down to the 100. It looks like it wants to break out. So if it's true, and that's what it does, then we want to see it get above 55.81 from a technical standpoint, and we want to do that relatively soon. If it starts to grind back down to this 100, then there's a really strong chance it goes down into the 30s, because it's just there's a big gap in here. So anywhere from like 36, 37. Kind of where it landed before, all the way down to like 31 would be a possibility. So keep an eye out for that if you're in that stock. All right, let me see here. Who else do we have? Grab. What else? Grab LRCK. LRCK. Let's look at it real quick here. LRCK, is that right? Or X, my bad. Lam Research, okay. I've heard that name before, but I don't know what they do. Semiconductors, okay. Fremont, California. Don't love the state, but lots of cash. $781 million in cash off of $3.8 billion in revenues, 20 PE, forward PE. Not bad numbers for these chip companies. Are they just not benefiting? We're seeing declining institutional ownership here, though. That's not great. Short interest jumped, but it's non-existent. It's 0.25%. They were buying a lot of stock. Insiders were buying a lot in 2019, 2020. Bought more than sold in Q1 of 2023. Kind of not much since. Estimates do show growth. They got crushed in 2022. I'm not sure why. If that was like NVIDIA taking market share. I don't know the sector well. If you guys have any input, throw it out there. But we do see growth in revenue estimates and EPS estimates and EBIT estimates. So everything's growing. I like that. Stock-based comp, 2%, not a crazy number. So it looks like they're starting to grow again after kind of falling off the cliff in 2022. So whatever that was, it looks like they're coming back from it now. And it looks like a decent company. Shares are going down. Cash is going up. Debt is going down. R&D, nice healthy budget for that. Yeah, it seems like they're doing the right things. They don't own any bonds right now. $5.8 billion in cash. Let's look at this as a stock. I don't think I actually have this one. So let me make a copy real quick here. What was it? LCRX? Just double check here. LCRX, okay. Back over here. Save. Pull it up over here. I'm sorry, what? What stock? Where is this from? LRCX. LRCX. Dyslexia. All right, there we go. Let me rename this too, because I effed that up. All right, save that. Cool. All right. So, wow, yeah, this company is done all right. And it seems like the next earning report is in 2 days. What do we have for news? Lam Research experienced a decline in stock price with shares falling approximately 8 to 9% along with other chip-making equipment. All right, so rough. I don't think this is today. This is what, Friday? Is this Friday? What is that, 21st? Oh, no, that was today? I'm confused. It says 0% on the day. But if I'm looking at this right, let me just go back to the daily. Oh, no, okay. So today it's kind of flat, but it had a steep drop on the 15th. Okay, so last week it was getting crushed pretty good. And we had a stock split. 10-to-1 stock split that just occurred. Okay. Lots going on in this one. All right, let's draw this out. Assume, God, we can't really assume we found the bottom, can we? I mean, maybe. Again, this is perfectly at... It's like a triple bottom. If it doesn't break down and go into the 60s, it's a triple bottom off of previous support. So it really matters what happens on earnings coming up for this thing. But let's pretend like earnings do well. Let's pretend like this is a good company. Let's draw from this, major low up to here, down to here. So this thing could have a decent run up here. But again, that's assuming it can hold. If it can't hold, I mean, the more you knock on the door of something, the greater the chance you have of breaking down. So they better have a good earnings report. Otherwise, they're going to get hurt. So if they accomplish their goals here and they see that increase in revenue that they were talking about, and they don't miss a lot. And there's a dividend. This looks like an interesting stock, dude. Not going to lie. Looks like an interesting stock. I'm going to definitely save this one. Feel free to bring it up again in the future. We're about an hour and a half in, guys. I'm probably going to cut it here. I will try and do more of these, though, in the future. Tomorrow, I'll make the market recap real short, and I'll try and consolidate the market open, too. And that way we can get through more stocks. I feel like I'm getting a backlog built up here. And so I'll work harder to try and get these caught up for you guys and get more of these done. Nope, my father is Danish. So here's Silas. Nope, my father's Danish. He just likes South Africa for its beauty. He worked in South African countries for 20 years before retirement. Interesting. I listened to this. I listened to this guy, Serpenza. I don't know if you know who that is. I got a lot of insights from him in the China show and what's his name? Sea Milk. A lot of interesting stuff about China just from those guys. And then I follow a bunch of other sites. I don't know if you know who that is, Silas. It'd be interesting to know if you do. All right. But anyway, I think I'm gonna call it here, guys. Again, there's more that I probably need to get through. I'll try and do a better job getting these into the Discord. I still haven't updated the portfolio, but that's on the list. I got a lot to do. Today I just got distracted. I do have a VPN now. Somebody let me know that I was showing my IP address to the world, so I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So thank you very much. You guys are awesome for looking out for me. I really appreciate you. And I think we'll call it for the day. I'm going to leave you with some What happened to Open Skies? I don't know. Do you guys know what happened to Open Skies on X? She was awesome. She's an Australian. She's a great person, and I think she just disappeared. But I worry about what happened here too. So like the amount of followers and following just plummeted. And now there's this weird Substack thing. I don't remember that being on there before. And yeah, do you guys know what happened to her? Does anybody know what happened to Open Sky? It's just really weird. It's really weird. Like, she was my buddy. We talked all the time, and she hasn't responded to a friend request that I sent her. I just don't know. And yeah, I don't know. This Substack thing is weird. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she got hacked or something. I feel like she got hacked. I'm going to see if there's another one. If she got hacked, she needs to reach out to me. Yeah, I just don't know, dude. I don't know what happened to her. Yeah, I don't know. If you guys find out, if she needs help, if she got hacked or something and I can help her with her account, let me know. I'll do whatever I can with my influence. But I was wondering that same thing. I tried reaching out. I have no idea what happened to her. Yeah, maybe it got hacked. But if you guys find the real Open Sky, I would like to help her because she was awesome. She was great in the Tesla community, all around great Aussie, great person. So if I can help her get her account back, or at least build her following back, I would be happy to do that. So you guys let me know, okay? Otherwise, you guys take it easy. We'll go out here with some music. Let me see what we want to play here. Freedom Over Money, I think, is always a good one. So you guys take it easy. I will see you tomorrow. Peace out, guys. Bye.
Give me freedom over money. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Yeah. Give me millions for my real ones, cause money don't mean nothing, that's my people eat. Money don't mean nothing, that's my people eat. Money don't mean nothing unless my people eat. Yeah, I found my purpose and my path. Let go of my past, isolating myself. I've grown more on my ones. Be careful who you following, cause most people are lost. You man whipping different kitchens, but dripping the same sauce. Found solitude. Let go of my ego and gain knowledge too. We ain't in the same league, so I ain't got nothing I gotta prove. Past so many obstacles, had patience like hospitals. Skilled with it, ill with it, universe sent me a Doctor Who. Spiritual and logical, I'm a miracle from a molecule. Pop said, grow my locks, there's power in every follicle. Leaving for where it's tropical, need freedom and every dollar too. Don't compromise your self-worth to have people that will follow you. Cause that leadership, man, it's earned. Bleed the shit, man, it hurts. Some to the hate, I spread love, hope you feel it. In every word, mums didn't have peas up in their purse. So my people out on the curb, hope I make a change before these aliens beam me up from this earth. Give me freedom over money. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Yeah. Give me millions for my real ones, cause money don't mean nothing unless my people eating. Money don't mean nothing unless my people eating. Money don't mean nothing unless my people eating. Yeah. Love to the strong women in my life. Life's been hard, but you made it through with all the odds against your struggle. So much lessons I take from you. Ma, you've been amazing too. Rise from having nothing to qualifications in abundance. Nothing no one can say to you. All trying to make paper moves. Came from living on basic foods. I'm Jamaican too, but I love when auntie cooks jollof and pepe stew. Team wins, then I praise the crew. If I win, then they praise me too. But when I make M's from W's, know the whole tribe celebrating moves. Pops built the foundation, made every accommodation home. Raised me to a real man, show me how a king sits on his throne. They think I'm writing lyrics, this is physics. I've been writing codes, trying to free your mind so them evil spirits can let you go. Freedom, freedom. Got most people enslaved in this matrix, this fake shit. And I just been here waiting, cause they sleeping. Every day doing the same shit, chasing those papers, can't wait till they awaken. Give me freedom over money. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Less that money buying all my people freedom. Yeah. Give me millions for my real ones, cause money don't mean nothing unless my people eating. Money don't mean nothing unless my people eating. Money don't mean nothing unless my people eat. Yeah, can't do this for my family. We raised up and nurtured the man in me. I've been out here and I've been planting seeds. In my garden water, in my money trees. Yeah, can't do this for my family. We raised up and nurtured the man in me. I've been out here and I've been planting seeds. In my garden water, in my money trees. Yeah, can't do this for my family.